buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track.
Deeper and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We've got that lined up. Yeah, the classic from the first album, I'm Waiting for the Man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
Little flowers in pots. What do you mean?
Velvet Underground and Nico, which apparently peaked at a disappointing 171 in the US charts.
Think of that.
And that's obviously Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and Waiting for the Man.
Yeah, great track. So... we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
The mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know whether that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far. But what I'm trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What does she look like? Who did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I never got that close to her.
Okay, all right.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from, I don't know where, there was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't
get
have
caught?
it for long.
No.
Sorry, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
What happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
Well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good way of making over. So, you're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house. Sure. I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray. Yeah. Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut? You didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they wouldn't have survived. But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went...
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room. I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
central heating,
3-piece suite, and a telly and that?
Telly and that?
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari.
Right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right? Yeah. And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, that dog is happier than most dogs,
right?
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't eat, but other than that,
no, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for itself. Do you know
well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start. Yeah.
But anyway, that's by the by. Yeah. So anyway, this family. Who's a bit... What we were talking about, it was about cloning...
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff,
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right. Now, you look at Stephen. You look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right. So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily and that sort of thing. Now, when this family,
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
right? This family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you know." And the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying like abusing it, but it used to run around. It used to play out till like 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit.
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars.
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh God!
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly, and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow. Wow. Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl. Ryan Gervais with me, Steve and Carl. Carl, why have you got a headache? You got a headache?
Just a bit stressful because the moves on this week.
Oh, you're moving house?
Oh, by the way, the XFM listeners came round to my house and bought the futon and table.
Did they?
Were they happy with it?
Quite normal. They were well happy.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe the luck with it.
What do you mean quite normal? What do you mean quite normal?
Well, it's always a bit scared, isn't it, getting people round.
I imagine they were scared.
Well,
And were they excited to see you? Could they? I mean, they were, could you tell that they were pretty pleased to see you?
no, I don't think so. I mean,
You're
but-
Carl Pilkington.
yeah, but the fellas sort of. I mean, they brought the whole family round, which was a bit odd.
Well, it's not often they get the chance to visit a living freak.
Anyway, no, they were nice. They were
And you're
nice.
moving now, yeah? He said he phoned me up today. You know, it was absolutely tipping it down. Right? He had to cycle in, right? Because he said, because of the move, he doesn't want to leave his bike round there. Right? And he said, and Suzanne, oh, I can't say this in case he's listening, can I?
He won't know. will he?
He said Suzanne's hired the oldest removal man in London.
You should hear him. And the thing is, right, we booked him because everyone else happened to be booked out, but this fella's free, right? So he called up this morning. I've never spoke to him, but he was on the phone. He sounded about 90.
Yeah.
Carl thinks that he's going to have to do all the work.
And the thing is, right, it seems
He
to be
only
cheap.
wanted some Werther originals.
Yeah.
Right, listen, it seemed to be cheap because it's £50 an hour. But how long is it going to take him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
genius.
When's the move on then? When's the?
Oh, he's coming round. He came round today to bring some empty boxes, and he was struggling with them. So it actually happens on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
I woke up this morning, yeah.
Feeling fine.
It's not a blues song. And I turned my phone on, and it was from Carl, and it went, "Forget it, I've made my mind up." And I thought,
Wow.
what is that? And I
Forget
phoned him.
it. I've made my
Yeah,
mind.
I went, "Carl, what is it?" He went, "Oh, no, it's about the text I sent you last night." I went, "Well, what was it? I just got this text." He went, I was just wondering, I was thinking last night." He said, "Supposing you had to have your hands removed,
Sure.
right?" And the doctor said, "Well, you can either have them stay like that with stumps, or I can sew feet there. What would you have?" And I was bleary-eyed, and I went, "The stumps." He went, "Yeah." I went, all right. He went, yeah.
And then
And
what
that-
was his follow-up text to that?
And then I got the text. It was obviously before it, and it went, and it was like quite serious. What would you do if Sarah's not doing with your hands? Would you have stumps or the feet? Right now, the way when I said he's made his mind up, and I went the stumps, he went, yeah. I think secretly he decided on the feet, but was too embarrassed to tell me.
There's a little bit of what would you do? Because
But why did you think of this? Why did you think of this?
Girlfriend's
How did this come
away,
about?
right?
Yeah, no, that's not why you start thinking bizarre
I'll tell
surgery
you now,
devices.
right? I'll let you into my little mind, right? Last night, I had some beans on toast, right? She was away,
It's good already.
She was away, she had some beans on toast, she
Yeah.
went wild.
Yeah.
right? Now, I was stood up. I live on on a high street, right? So I'm washing up. I'm looking out the window. First thing that had my attention is I can look into other people's flats, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird how all these different lives were going on. I was watching them, and everybody had the telly on and was watching Volcano, right? Which was on last night.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's weird, right? I can see them all watching it. And there was like a little Chinese lad who was dancing around in some underpants. Yeah. And then there's a little old woman who lives downstairs who was reading a book, and she's always reading a book every night. And it's like, I have a better life than her. And then there's like some sort of bouncer who's always getting ready to go out late at night with all the black on. He looks like a bouncer. So I was watching all this life going on. I thought,
Did you witness a murder while you were doing it?
Yeah.
it was like that sort of Sliver film where that bloke had loads of tellies watching
Yeah,
people's
sure.
lives. So that was going on in my mind, and then I was washing up, and I picked up the plate, and I thought, oh, it's amazing, isn't it? The human body, the way you can just sort of, I want to pick that up, and you do.
Yes.
And the way your hands work, right?
Yeah.
You've got 5 little digits, but it's just the right amount to do what
Yeah.
to do what you've got to do, right? So I'm cleaning the plate.
Sorry, Carl. Stop. It's just the right amount. Might be one of the most genius things I've ever heard said. I would love David Attenborough to phone you up and say, Carl, how do I word this about the evolution of the mammalian front limb? Just go, we'll just say it's the right amount.
But it is.
It is,
One
of course
extra
it
would
is.
get in the way.
Yeah.
And one less would just make it that little bit more tricky when picking up a bit of a slippery dish.
Sure, or buying gloves. Yeah.
A slippery dish.
So then I was thinking, imagine like going to the doctors and he's saying, yeah, everything's all right, your heart's good and everything, but
Your art's good, what, your Larry's, or...
yeah, your heart, you're in good form and whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good news. I had Giano in earlier. He's not looking good.
I had Fat Swaller.
But you're all right. But your hands need to come off.
Right. Blimey.
But
That's bad. Like, I'd get a second opinion initially.
But I better good news, I've got a nice pair of feet I can
Sure.
sort you out with.
Yeah.
And he puts them on, and then I was thinking, right, first of all, washing up, what would that be like? I thought,
Steve.
that'd be
It's
tricky. And then the second thing was, it'd probably ruin the sort of the shape of your jumper.
Because you have to keep putting the feet through there. Yeah.
And then I thought, but I could still cycle in
Okay.
to work.
You could run in.
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be really fast.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought I could still cycle because I could balance, and then I thought, but the only thing is I probably couldn't pull the brakes because of the little short things.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I thought, but then again, you'd run in half the time. So that's what was going on in last night.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about.
So did you
How
ever...
long did this take?
Well, how long does it take to wash up?
Right. Because I imagine you just being there for, like, all night.
Probably 25 minutes.
How long did the little Chinese fella dance for in his pants?
He's always doing it. Last night he was at it for like 10 minutes.
Just, yeah.
And his girlfriend never sits in the same room as him. She's always sat in the bedroom.
She's going, you dance in pants again, I go in next door.
Well, she was in the bedroom. She's always in the bedroom, sat on the floor, on the mobile phone.
Right.
All
Really?
the time, yeah. It's weird how people's lives are just like, it is like that Groundhog Day thing. It's like, he's jumping about in his underpants. The old woman sat there reading a book.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about my life.
Do you think she ever
Are
goes...
you sure she's not dead? Every time you look down there, she's just flicking through it. She's just reading this book. The pages never turn. She never seems to finish it. She never moves from her chair.
Are you sure the Chinese
Her
girl's
cats
going...
are dead around her.
I'm going into next door again. That little
Yeah,
round-headed
the
fella's
smell.
looking in. He's looking in at me. The bouncer goes, don't worry, love, I'll go and beat him
That's-
up. But he's
that's
always
true.
getting ready.
That's true.
They see you staring at and washing up going, I could have feet. here, and they get scared. The old woman's dead. Oh,
Carl,
dear.
can you tell us roughly which neighbourhood you live in, so that we know?
It's central.
Central, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, imagine if that little... Was he a Chinese fella, did you say?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was listening now. I'd love him to call in and explain his actions.
Well, he might be on some other radio station talking about a lad who's always washing up and looking at his hands in a mysterious way.
Yeah.
But do we have this doctor that would go, well, all right, Carl, you could either leave them as stumps or I've got every little pair of feet. Why? I mean, I told Jane this, and Jane went, is that the only choice? Could you say, could I have some dead man's hands? Have you got any? Where'd you get the feet from? Where'd you get the feet from? Can I have? What would you rather have then? Human feet or monkey paws?
Well, I mean, that wasn't an option last night. That if the doctors said...
No, it wasn't an option last night, but don't forget, it's in your head, Carl. This didn't happen.
No, but I'm just saying, at the time, that's all the doctor had to offer.
But, it's your head. You can go anywhere. No, it wasn't a real doctor to offer. It's in your head. You can go anywhere. You're not trapped.
Yeah, but if you can do anything, then you'd say we'll sort us out some other hands.
Fair point. Let's play record.
Hello. You're listening to the best of, basically, Carl Pilkington.
Right, you ready then? So, just in case you haven't heard it before, I'll give you some initials of a band or an artist.
We're not doing Rockbusters now, are we?
Yeah, I thought, well, we've just...
Oh, no, we keep that going. Then we got. Well, I love educating Ricky. That's my favourite thing now.
Well, what do you want to do, Steve? I mean,
let's hear the clues.
It's just that he's sort of bigged up the prizes.
And so this is only by email. Give the email address out now for people to write it down now, Carl.
Right, it's ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Only entries on email.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3 clues. You've got to get them all right.
And you win all the stuff.
You win all those prizes we just said. Okay, Carl, go on then.
Right, and just a quick example, one of the first ones we did, it was like AK, and the clue was exploding pet, and it was atomic kitten, right? Yeah. So you understand how it works now. These are your clues. The first one, that army has got some nice trenches.
That army has got some nice trenches. Excellent.
Yeah. And the initials there are DW.
Do you write some of the questions for 15 to 1?
Go on.
So that army has got some
similar
nice
phrasing.
trenches. Okay.
Okay.
The second one.
What were the initials there, Carl, on that person?
DW.
DW.
Yeah. Right. The second one. The top of them curtains are all wrecked. All the materials all worn.
He acts it out though. We've got to get him on telly. We have got to get him on telly because his little face and his gestures.
That's the second one. The initials being HV. Okay, the top of those curtains are wrecked. All the materials all worn out. Right, HV. And the final one. Here's the final clue. I was in Texas the other week. Right, I tripped and landed on my knees in a puddle.
What's the initials?
WH for that one. So I was in Texas, I tripped up, landed on my knees in a puddle. So that's WH.
Incredible.
You've got it!
Is it great?
It's fantastic! It doesn't work!
Okay, time during the record, Remember, you're playing for these compilation albums. We got the Fatboy Slim DVD, Linda Green on VHS, and of course, Executive Decision, starring Kurt Russell as well.
Play 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant. We're not actually here. It's the best of. Okay, what's the next one? What's the educating Ricky?
I don't know. See, like I say, I was looking around and there's stuff that is interesting. Right, I was looking on the web.
But there's no point.
Well, it's just that I found one about...
what's the point?
About a lad who 8 years old, but he's still breastfed. Now... I don't know if you can get anything out of that.
Is that what his mum said?
So,
what do you mean I don't know if I can get anything out of that? You don't need to.
No, it's just that...
Where did you read that?
That was on the internet.
Oh, well, yeah.
You're always unspecific when you mention it. It's just it was on the internet.
Well, I'm trying to think what I put in. I think I put in Y to see if I'd confuse the computer.
Carl, you are...
No,
honestly.
I did a search, put in Y, and it came up with funny things that, like, why is this person doing that? Why is that? And it had a picture of this 8-year-old lad, sort of, on his mum's nipple. and it was saying, you know, is this healthy?
You sure that wasn't asking you that question?
What? I put in why? Just to confuse the computer. Like, the computer go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, yeah. Last week, I was walking home with him, and I went, he was saying something stupid, and I went, I've got a competition for next week. Let's do a phone-in, and it's called Carl Pilkington, Genius or Fool.
Yeah.
Right? And he went, no. I went, why not? He went, well, it'd be confusing because they say there's no difference between genius and being a fool.
You do that, don't you?
No, but it's rubbish, and people say there's a fine line between madness and genius, and you know, it's a ridiculous soundbite. They don't say there's a fine line between a genius and an idiot.
Well, the people who do are idiots.
Yeah.
So what would you do there, though, just to sort of wrap that little thing up? What would you do? That lad loves his mum's milk.
What are you asking me to come up with?
No, I'm just
a title for the story.
No. It's just what would you do? Right.
What do you mean? What would I do?
Well, it's causing a bit of a problem in the area. Right.
What area?
In America, I think it was.
Oh, America are a problem, are they? George Bush is worried about this kid who's breastfeeding at 8.
Imagine it like this, right?
Right. No, so, Carl, what are you asking me about this spurious story you saw on the internet?
I saw it on the internet. There's an 8-year-old lad who likes his mum's milk, and it's saying, "Is this right? Should it?"
No,
be
it's
going
not.
on?
But what
What do you want Ricky to do about it? It's not his responsibility.
Yeah.
No, but the little town that he lives in, they're all causing an uproar, right? Going, this isn't right. You know, I can't let my kid play out in case he's in the garden with his mum getting a bit hungry, right? So,
Oh God.
what should they do? Because his mum's saying, well, he likes it,
Yeah.
and he, you know, what? So what do you do?
I don't know the laws.
No, but I'm not asking you to sort out the laws. I'm just saying, if you lived in that neighbourhood, what
Yeah.
would you say? If you went up to him and said, look, everyone's getting a bit fed up with this, look.
I'd say, what would I do? What do you mean, what would I do? What are you asking me?
Right, it doesn't matter.
No. What are you asking me? What are you asking me and Steve and the
I'm
public?
just saying, say if you live next door to this woman,
Yeah.
right? The kid's hungry, 8 years old, he's out playing on his bike, and he goes, Mum, I'm getting a bit peckish, and he goes, all right, son. She whops one out, and he starts having his milk, right? You live next door, you're putting your washing out, and you see this going on. You're getting a bit sick of it because it's gone on for months.
8 years, I assume.
Why is it your business? Why are you such a nosy neighbour that you're concerned?
What would you do, Carl? Let's turn it back on him.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What's your solution?
What would you do?
Well, I thought I'd say, right, why are you doing this? And she'd say, because he likes it. And I go, all right then, put it in a bowl first.
So
And you think that would sort that out?
No, because I was thinking about the whole thing, right? And you do that when you're a baby, and everything's all right, innit?
Yeah.
No one bats an eyelid at a little baby having a bit of milk from its mum's breast, right?
Yeah.
You'd almost say it was natural.
But you grow out of it. It's like you don't see. It got me thinking about things you don't see, and you don't see.
Did you put this into a computer? Show me things you don't see.
What else don't you see?
Well, you don't see like an old man having a Twix. You never.
Oh!
So what?
Oh,
No,
You know the terrible thing about all this, Steve, is he's right.
You don't see an old
No,
man
I
eating a
know
Twix.
that's a terrible thing.
So what they have got, right? They've made old man toffees, haven't they? They've come up with Werther's.
Is that a song? Oh God! You don't see it.
So they've got their Werther's, right?
Yeah.
So
Look at him. You
Forget
think he's
it.
giving a lecture at Oxford?
it's not going anywhere.
No,
you
go
know?
on. Sorry. Go on.
I'm
What?
just saying.
Right.
You grow out of things.
Yeah.
And the old man, I'm sure when he was a kid, he'd have a Twix.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't look right, so he's having.
It doesn't look right.
So.
Right.
I don't think Werther's originals were specially designed for old people. I think they were sweets that just happened to have been made for years. That's why old people eat them.
Yeah.
They didn't go, hang on, there's a market here. I've noticed old people aren't eating Twixes. Quick, let's make some old man sweets.
But the little advert, he gives it to his grandson as well, doesn't he? He goes, I have a Werther's original.
No, I think it cuts though before he throws it back in his face and goes, get me a Twix.
Did you see the stylish?
You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted. You've got a real problem with Rick Waller, haven't you?
I just,
And he's
he
probably
turns my stomach.
I know, but don't...
Because he's
don't say
arrogant
that.
as well, though.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Don't explain to people that...
No,
you
he
know,
is a bit arrogant.
It's his whole thing, that it's the whole package, so to speak, that you don't
Well,
like.
there's another thing in this quote, because
It's
he's
not just the fact that he eats too much.
he tried apparently to lose some weight, and he said the first month I lost 11 pounds, the next I lost a stone, but in the third my body did somersaults and I put on 9 pounds. I had a slip up. I can't say when, why, or how, but it just sneaked up on me.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Don't believe it just sneaked up on him.
That body's never done a somersault in its life.
No, it just sneaked up on him.
Me, yeah. It
was the cakes again.
Yeah.
It was the same old cakes as before. It was exactly the same problem.
Sleep eating.
Yeah.
It's called.
It was the KFC bucket again. It was the family-sized KFC bucket for breakfast.
Dear. Poor man. The other thing is that I don't think that's a very good shock tactic for a doctor to tell a 20-something, well, to be honest, you've got 20 years to live.
Yeah.
That's not... You know, and when I was 20, the thought of dying at 40 was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live to 40. I just thought, oh, what can you do when you're 40?
Yeah.
Just laying around doing nothing.
Eating cheese. And then you got there and you discovered...
No, but someone sent me...
dream came true.
Sophie here sent me something, and she said, I realise you're not Graham Norton, but I had to send you this. And she sent me the top of a little cream cheesy thing, and it's the brand name is Gervais.
How odd that is. They've named a cheese after you.
I think it's a big French company, and this is from the Czech Republic. It's all over Europe, and so
that would be a dream come true, wouldn't it? If they named a cheese after you.
No, I think it's probably, you know, ancestors, and so cheese is in my blood.
Sure.
Quite
It literally is, yeah. Another heavy Friday night, was it?
It comes out of pores like those Play-Doh things. I can squeeze out different shapes.
Jane, bring the Stilton in. It's Friday night.
This isn't fried.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we can't really have a go at Rick Waller. I eat too much, but
but you're not big. I mean, one of the other contestants on the Fat Club, Celebrity Fat Club, is another one is Jono Coleman.
Oh, we love Jono.
Now Jono, I don't know, you know Jono. He's that guy who does. He used to be on TV, and I think he does a breakfast show on a rival station, doesn't he?
He's happy, isn't he?
He's so true, and he's a really nice bloke, Jono. But
it's funny because he does a breakfast show on Heart, which is wrecking his own. There's a bit of irony.
I love Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love you.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's good.
But we've met Jono a couple of times. We saw him at a couple of, not wishing to say not to show off, but a couple of awards dues.
Yeah, like that's showing off.
But
like people would have seen dead there.
Well, yeah, but we went to one where everyone was in like tuxedos or suits and ties. Not Jono. Jono was wearing a pair of Bermuda shorts,
big Bermuda
and a
shorts,
Hawaiian
knee-length Bermuda
shirt.
shorts with just these little.
But I saw him again another
feet.
time, and he had shorts on at a similar event, and I've seen him since in the street, and he's all... I'm wondering if he can wear trousers. I don't think he can actually wear trousers. I don't know if there's a medical reason for that, whether he's just... his legs are too fat.
I think the material is a waste of money. I think it's just that you can get shorts that big and they're comfortable, and... you know, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't want to squeeze into a tuxedo anyway. So if you can go... I'd love to turn up those things in Bermuda shorts.
Well, of course.
Flip-flops.
But do you think he started off by wearing... Maybe he just had the upper half was a tuxedo with the tie and
then the shorts for
and the
comfort.
shorts underneath, and he would just have to come in, kind of sneak behind, you know, a sideboard.
Potted plant.
Or a potted plant. Or bring his kids ahead of him.
Yeah.
You know, you are wearing trousers, aren't you?
You're wearing trousers. Of course I am, yeah.
In you go.
Kids move a bit. Well, no.
Exactly.
Of course I'm wearing trousers. Why would I?
I'm wearing trousers.
And then you just thought, oh, this isn't fooling anyone.
So now I'm going to make a wacky effort to sort of, you know...
The next zone is, I've heard he's going in a grass skirt and a garland around his... And he's going to come in limboing.
But you did ask if you could go to the BAFTAs in a dressing gown, didn't you?
Just for ease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, right, is this talking about diets and stuff, right?
Go on.
They've come up with a drug that, they tested it out on a mouse, right? They said, you know, it's a problem that weight is a big issue in the world, and, you know, a lot of people are depressed, and that probably like Rick Waller.
Well, I'm depressed looking at Rick Waller.
Well, you know...
Oh.
I mean, you could sort out Rick by... You know, Jono is an old man, he's got loads of money.
He's not old.
No, but he's getting on a bit, right?
He's about
No, but
my
hang on a
age,
minute. What I mean is he does his own shopping, right? So I bet it's
Sorry?
hard.
What do you mean?
Because he's like, how old is he? 35. Right? He's got loads of money, he does his own shopping, so when he goes to the supermarket and he passes, you know, the sponge cake section, it must be tough when you've got loads of money to burn that you go, oh, just one more,
Yeah.
One more.
Look, so just sorry, we are getting close to libel here, I think.
No. I'm saying how it is because
Right.
I've tried like losing a little bit of weight.
Have you?
And it is difficult when you're in Waitrose and you see a little chocolate muffin and you think, well, one more and I'll do without.
Do you like a little chocolate muffin now and
Well,
again?
yeah, right.
Is that your favourite thing?
So the
A
thing
chocolate
is,
and
Let him
muffin?
finish his point.
So the thing is, right now with Rick, he lives at home with his mum. So why doesn't his mum just say, "I'm going to buy less this week, and if you eat it all, you're not getting any more."
Yeah.
That sort that.
Does
out.
he
A
live with
short,
his mum?
sharp shot.
I bet he does. I bet he does. 'Cause
So you don't actually know if this is true or not.
no, but anyway, right. So this drug they've come up with.
They've tested this on mice, haven't they?
They've tested
No, I'm worried if they haven't tested it on mice. because
Thank God for that.
It's definitely been tested on mice.
Definitely.
They fed a mouse a load of cake,
Yeah.
right? And it went a little bit chubby, and he said, "Right, stop a minute." And then they gave it this drug that makes you lose weight.
Yeah.
And its weight went down, but the only bad side effect was its eyes were popping out.
Well, that seems to be fine then. Let's give it to Jono. There doesn't seem to be any problem.
Oh, Rick should get some of that.
Yeah, Struth, Doc, look at these. Oh, Jesus, Jono, your eyes are popping out. That happened to the mice. Sorry? That happened to the mice.
But what
do you mean?
That's the option.
But
What do you mean that's the option?
So I love the fact that your choice is either be like a fat, happy man who has the odd sponge cake, or a stick man with eyes on stalks. I mean, Steve's chosen that.
All right, calm down.
Oh,
I
sorry,
thought we were
mate.
slagging off Rick Waller and
Sorry,
fat
mate.
people.
Sorry,
Let's
mate.
have a go at the fat people before we start
sorry.
on me, Rick.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I
Yeah,
forgot.
I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
Because I've got some issues, and body issues.
I
you
know.
But, Rick Waller's grotesque, you know.
Yeah, sorry
I'm
about
just
that.
a little bit weird. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, should we play a song? And
Well, I'm
sort
just a little bit offended.
All right, XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington, not here. It's the best of. You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted.
So let's take us back a few steps, Carl. What's the story?
Right, so I did some research.
Right. Let's just recap again. There was a guy you read about who had his head chopped off. He was guillotined.
Yeah.
He had said to the people around him,
Count
"I am going
blinks.
to blink once I've had my head cut off to
So
show
the brain
that life
can still...
or the brain
Yeah.
can continue to work after
Yeah.
death." Okay, so yeah, we queried that.
So you weren't having any of it?
Well, no, possibly for a few seconds till the oxygen stops being fed to the cells because the blood has drained away. But, you know, nothing spectacular. So
Right,
go on.
well, along the similar sort of lines, right? This is quite a few years ago. This fella sort of upset the royal family doing something, right? So they said that this isn't
It
good.
wasn't Ben Elton at that Jubilee thing, was it?
I can't
That was-
remember what it was, and they said, right,
That was terrible.
we're gonna cut your head off. You know, you gotta show people like you can't be doing what you've been doing.
What was this? The 1970s? What you said a couple of years ago? You mean maybe sort of
Was it the olden days when the
Ages.
phones weren't very good?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
ages ago? Sure.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
Very philosophical.
Yeah, imagine that when he was in history.
Cut your head off. Yeah,
This
fair
was
enough.
literally ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go
Simon
on.
Sharma's History of Britain.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
and even before that, which is young before, when it was all mental and different. Sorry, Carl, go on.
So he's having his head cut off, and he's resigned to it.
it's the day before. He's kind of got it into his head now that I'm not going to have my head much longer.
Sure.
So he said, let's make use of this.
Yeah.
He said, I wonder how long like the body can stay alive without the head on it, right? So they were like, oh, I don't know. So,
Who were?
so
The jailers?
whoever he was asking.
These jailers with one eye.
Yeah.
Get out, son.
So he said, look,
No, wait a minute, I've got an interesting scientific experiment, jailer. Well,
Yeah.
fair enough.
What is it?
so he said, what I want to do, right? He said, you know, surely it's my last right. You know, I'm gonna be dead tomorrow.
Sure.
So let's
He
do a
didn't draw
test.
it out this long, did he?
Yeah, he said, let's test this out. You know, he said, do us a favour. He said, you know, it's my last day. What I want you to do is, you're going to cut my head off. Let's put a white line on the floor,
Right.
and see if, you know, because there's no point asking how far he can sort of walk without an head if there isn't a line, because you don't know what to count. Do you know what I mean? If he loses his head and he's running around all over the place, you can't really count
That's
that.
not impressive enough, yeah.
So they said, let's make a white line.
Sure.
Who said
And-
this? He did or they did?
I think they started to join in with him and saying, well, let's make this a... you know.
Sure. You guess it. Go on.
So,
They got Norris McWhirter down. the Guinness people.
Oh, yeah.
so they said,
let's get this white line.
Yeah.
And
Dedication's all he needs.
we'll do this. We'll do this tomorrow. He said, all right, then, I'll see you in the morning.
I'll see you in the morning. Night, night, sleep tight. Bye-bye.
I love the fact that Carl knows exactly what was said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. He doesn't know the story
Yeah.
or what order it is in
Yeah.
or when
But
it
he
was.
knows exactly what
or
was
who
said.
said what, but he knows the interview. All right then, see you in the morning. Bye, little kissy, kissy, kissy. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, you joker.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah, anyway.
So he gets up.
Do you want a paper tomorrow? No, I'm all right. Go on.
He gets up and they say, right, today's the day and that. And he said, well, I've got used to the idea. So here's a white line for you.
Got used to the idea. Go on.
So they go, right, are you ready then? And he said, I go on. And they cut his head off. And the body walked 32 steps without a head.
Wow.
32 steps.
Incredible.
And that's the lesson, really.
Did it get as far as it walked along the white line, did it?
Yeah, it stayed along the white line, did 32 steps, and then started to stumble a bit, and it just fell over.
yeah.
But, it was a test that your body can still keep alive for a little bit
Yeah.
when you've lost your head.
Absolute twaddle. Absolute twaddle.
What do you reckon you can do then without an head? How many steps?
Nothing.
There'd be muscular spasm, right?
It would twitch a bit.
It would, yeah. You could not distinctly take 32 steps. The body well, don't.
Yeah.
Is the doctor still on the line?
Yeah.
The fellow that bought 6 parrots.
Yeah.
And you could have
Incredible.
got 32 steps.
Right, so
A
you don't
beheaded
believe
man
that?
doing a bit of line dancing.
Right, you don't believe that? But something that you do believe that a cockroach can live a week without an head.
It can. Slightly different kettle of fish there.
Why?
Wow, insect to human is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that
but
difference.
There's not that much difference in
Well, of
some
course there
insects.
is.
Do you know that a snake has a heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff?
Go on.
No, well, I'm just saying.
So
You're making out as if like they're a totally different being.
species. I am making out. I mean, call me old-fashioned.
Do you know what you're talking about now? I don't want you embarrassing yourself, Rick.
Yeah, I am suggesting they're totally different beings. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Now, Carl, the cockroach is a very different thing. The interesting there is that it lives without its head, because a lot of it's on. There's some of them are phototropic, chemotropic. Some of them just literally have irritation and muscle memory. I mean, they do have a central nervous system, but it's very different. So if you lose the head, it bypasses a lot of that anyway. All it does is run around. The reason it dies is because it can't take on water. But it's very different to a man, right, having consciousness and then losing that. And the body's still going, no, I think I remember what I was going to do here.
Yeah, so
I'm going to carefully walk 32 steps along this white line. I'm basically just looking down going, oh, missed a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe the head was in the corner going, left,
Yeah.
left, left. Oh, he's now...
Well, let's just put it out. I mean, if anyone listening has maybe had a relative beheaded, maybe in a horrendous car accident, where they got up, maybe they went for a walk, they had a little chat before they passed on.
Carl.
Get in touch.
Carl, you are my favourite being. You are my favourite species.
Now, you, Carl, may not be particularly different genetically from a cockroach. You
Well,
are,
why can
generally
cockroaches
speaking.
do that? Why whoever made them went...
Let's play a record. We'll
Do
discuss
you know
it.
when I told him this fact, I send him little facts on text messages just to inflame his, interest. I just sent him a cockroach can live 9 days without its head. He texted back, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of
They're
that?
not doing experiments, these cockroaches. It's a waste of
Is
time.
it boring last week to have?
And he went, and on top of all that, you're thirsty. So it's the worst week of your life, isn't it? That week without your head. XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant. Hello. You're listening to the best of, basically, Carl Pilkington. Carl's all flustered because there isn't a record set up, and he's getting all tizzy. He's been more worried about his competitions than sorting out putting records on ready. What?
I'm after Steve's Song for a Lover.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why didn't you carry on with your educating Ricky section? I'll have a look on the CD.
We'll keep it going, Steve.
Yeah, you
Cover it.
keep it
Go on.
afloat.
Go on then, right, okay. We've had a few emails. Anyone got it right, Carl? Anyone
Educating Ricky, that's the final one. We've got to get that out of the way.
We've got to get Rockbusters as well, though.
do that at the end. We can whip.
Go on then.
But we've only got 5 minutes left.
Come on, just do Educating Ricky.
Right.
God.
The last one that we haven't done
Right.
is he's a bit of a nuisance.
Go on then.
Again, not really that interesting.
Thanks.
No, again, spoke to you in the week, and he had much better things, like when I tell you about Brian Blessed climbing Everest, and for some reason it made him, played havoc with his belly, and
What?
he followed through, and he had to clean up.
Shut himself?
Yeah, using ice and snow.
Why are you telling me that Brian Blessed... in what way is telling me that Brian Blessed shit himself once in any way educational?
Because I was saying how he was climbing Everest, right?
Right.
I give it to him, he's an actor and that, but he gave that a go.
Yeah.
Right? He played...
What's the
know,
point of that, you'd say, wouldn't you?
You'd say, God, he's you know... He's
Oh,
good.
so he's all right. Me doing a boxing match for no reason is rubbish, but him climbing Everest and shitting himself
Yeah, he did that.
is commendable.
Right, and he's only going to, like, go and do it again. He's going to climb it again.
Yeah, but he might not shit himself this time.
Yeah, but what's the point in going? Nothing's changed up there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
What's it been?
Well, it has. They've probably cleared it up by now. Like, but it slip on it.
I can't really
It
bother
go-
telling you this one, because...
Come on,
To be
just
honest-
do it or do it now.
Steve, how we doing?
Look, no, never mind that. Look, just tell me what that means. Oh, he's a nuisance. Oh, this is so annoying, Carl. I'm going to go mental.
Right,
Talk.
Right, listen, I'm just putting
Right.
this in here, right? Right, nuisance is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the old fella who used to hang people...
1700s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be able to tell somebody's weight just by looking at them. Right? That's a bit of a bonus fact.
We'll be the judge of that.
The thing that I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
is money for old rope. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't even be bothered.
Yes, you're going to tell me now. Come on, Carl. I mean it.
Basically, money for old rope
Yeah.
came from the right.
What was all that about? He can tell someone's weight. What was
The
that
bonus
for?
fact.
And Brian Blessed shitting himself. What are you... What? No, tell you... No, tell me that now. You nearly made me swear then. I'm getting really annoyed. I'm getting really annoyed now. Tell me this fact, Carl, or I'm going to go mental.
Come on, Carl, I'm trying to know.
Not that people years ago, when people used to be hung, right?
Right.
If you didn't like the person who's been hung, you'd go, God, I really don't like him, and so you never forget the time.
Presumably
when
if they're being hung, we take that as read.
Yeah. So they never forget afterwards to get the hangman to get the rope and to cut it up into little pieces, and he'd sell them. He'd sell the little pieces of the rope to people. And
See,
he'd go,
Carl, that's the most interesting thing, if it's true, that you've come up with.
Right, okay. And so so they sell the rope,
they sell the rope, and it's money for old rope.
money for old rope.
Meaning, like, you know, God, it's easy to make money. That all I have to do is cut it up and sell it.
I'm cynical.
I'm not so convinced
Listen,
though.
we're really tight. We haven't even got time for a last track. We've got an ad break, and we've got to give out.
Okay, give your answers then. This is
Right.
ridiculous.
So, Steve,
on.
do you want to pick a winner?
I've got a winner when you give us the answers.
Okay, so the first clue was that army has got some well nice trenches.
Yeah.
That was DW.
Who's that?
Dandy Warhols.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
All right.
It's good, yeah.
The second
Okay.
one, the top of them curtains are wrecked, all
Yeah.
the material is worn.
Yeah.
HV, that's Holly Valance.
Oh, he got a phone call for a woman saying I haven't heard it, and he was talking to her off air, and she went, what is it? Someone says, oh, them's curtains. She went, all right. He said, you know the thing around the top of the curtain is a palmet, not a valance, and he went, cut her off.
Yeah, but my auntie's always making balances on everything. I'll tell you about that next week, right?
I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Is this the one that farted for 5 minutes?
Yeah, the very same.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll talk about that. I was in Texas. I tripped up. I landed on my knees in a puddle. WH.
Yeah.
Wet knee Houston. Right.
Wet knee Houston.
Yeah. So,
You're a maniac.
So who's a winner?
We've got Pete, Catherine and Laura in Newcastle upon Tyne. They're listening online, I assume, and they're
on
going to
Sky
get
Digital.
those great pieces. And remember, they've got loads of stuff. They've got the DVD here, they've got Linda Green, they've got Stone Roses, they've got another compilation, and Executive Decision.
What did you read about Brian Blessed? Is it actually true, or have you lied with
No,
someone else?
it was an interview with him in it.
And what did he
talking about-
say? Come on, what did he say?
He said I climbed Everest and I played havoc with me belly. Let's talk about it next week. We've really run out now.
Oh, you're a fool.
Ho, ho, ho. That's Feeder and Come Back Around. It's a new leaf, Steve. I've
I'm going to do properly now. I'm not going to be slovenly. I'm sitting up straight, you see.
Yep.
And it's going to be a proper DJing, because I think... Coming up soon, some great tracks, including a new one from Abs and an old one from Snow. Informer.
You don't mean that if it's me ecka boom, a licky boom boom down.
I'm joking, of course. We've got some fantastic tracks, some
stuff,
great
yeah.
chat, and we've got Carl with
Some
me,
great
Steve.
chat.
Steve. I'm Ricky Gervais on XFM 104.9.
There he is indeed, with him Steve Merchant. And Carl Pilkington, of course. Say hello, Carl.
All right.
Yeah, nice. And you say you read...
The beginning of a radio show is very much your wares, your shop window, laying out your stall. I don't think you could choose a better track than The Only Ones, Another Girl on the Planet.
I'd love to hear it.
One of my favourite intros, that.
Amazing.
Oh, that was dangerous, because I once heard on Capital Radio, this has got to be the greatest rock intro of all time, and they played Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I can just imagine them putting their head down.
I remember a friend of mine when I was at school, he just bought a car and he took me outside to show off the stereo system, Money for Nothing. He just played that. I've never heard the song before. Just played that for its entire 4 or 5 minute duration.
It is a
to
good
show off
song for
the sound system.
Yeah, it's a good song for showing off intros and sound systems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said you were driving along earlier. You saw someone.
Are you? Yeah, it was one of those zooped up sort of sporty saloons.
Nice.
You know, the big like a Mondale or something, those big, and it was blaring out. And the bloke in it was sort of like, I could tell he was 24, but already going bald from like obviously his estate agency job. But he's made a bit of money, and the stereo system was ridiculous. I mean, so loud, and it was going through Covent Garden. He was playing Snow in Informer.
Oh. Do people remember Informer by Snow? It was a big tune in
I don't know. It's great. Yeah, I always enjoy it.
Can I bring that in next week? Can we play Snow next week?
Well, you can play a tiny little bit.
Tiny little bit of Snow.
Yeah.
Informer. Do you remember Snow, Carl?
Yeah,
you loved it. Yeah, big tune.
Yeah, loved it. Oh,
Yeah,
did you?
big tune from the 90s.
Happy song, isn't it?
Rick, you were saying that you've turned over a new leaf.
Yeah.
Is that in all aspects of your life, or is that just in your broadcasting career? Because the reason I bring that up is because, do you want to describe what you were eating just now when we came in? Because you're a 40-year-old man, you've put on a little bit of weight, so presumably you're watching what you eat.
Well, no, but it sounded exotic. I went into a cafe and they didn't have a cheese sandwich.
Right.
And
can I describe what it looked like to me? Right, it looked to me like a big slab of cheese. You just got them to just cut off a big block of cheese, like the size of a CD case. Or one of those double albums, right, of cheese, right? And just lightly melt that for me so it drips over my hand and it gets really greasy in the bag. But just lay some strips of bacon on the top.
yeah, but listen, you've embarrassed
Is that
yourself.
what it was?
No, it's a croque monsieur, so it's French.
what?
A croque monsieur.
A croque monsieur.
Yeah, and so I thought,
I've never heard of a croque
You're having a let's
monsieur.
see, you've embarrassed
Is
yourself.
that how it's pronounced? Or is
Yeah.
it croque monsieur? Oh! Hey? You didn't expect me to be bringing out the French. Hey? Tu aimes la musique pop? Oui, je t'aime la musique pop.
Le plume de ma tante.
Où est le syndicat d'initiative?
That means my aunt's pen.
So what was it then? It was a croque
Yeah,
monsieur,
and it was just too greasy. It was just too, and it was all wobbly. Well, I like toast, I like it to be crisp.
Sure.
That's the thing with like, what? This is rubbish. Play Coldplay. Out the fun pack. Yeah. Coldplay. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad, yeah. Not bad.
That's a nice little track. Well, Steve, we've been away now for what, 12, 13, 14 weeks?
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been looking forward to coming back. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, we've had some laughs, some tears in the interim, I imagine.
Yeah.
We've had a few ups and downs. Obviously, been working on the TV show, The Office, BAFTA winning. Coming soon, BBC Two. But Rick, I just need to mention something quickly to you. When did I last see you? I saw you yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because we went up to Edinburgh yesterday. We were very nicely invited to go and talk at the Edinburgh International Television Festival. It was quite a big deal. We went up there, we were interviewed, and Ricky chose to go on the train because it takes like 4 hours. Is it 4.5 hours or something on the train?
Yeah.
But it's quite leisurely. It's quite sort of gentlemanly thing to do.
Yeah.
I opted to go for the plane option and fly up there.
More modern.
Exactly, and they bankrolled that. They paid for it all, and that was all not very nice. And as I recall, when I last saw you, we got a cab, didn't we? And you asked if you could get the cab to drop you off at the train station.
Yeah.
And then it took me on to the airport.
Yeah.
Did I? Now that was before. The last time I saw you was before I got to the airport and missed my flight, wasn't it? Because I had to drop you off in the centre of town. Yeah, no, that was just before I had to pay £165 to upgrade to another ticket.
How did you not tell me that in the last hour?
£165, Ricky.
I had to pay because we dropped you off at the train station. So I mean, do you want to go halves on that, or what do you want? How do you want to deal with that? How do you want to sort that whole mess out?
Why were you late?
Why was I late? Because we dropped you off in the centre of Edinburgh, and do you know how hard it is to get out of Edinburgh in rush hour traffic?
But it was only 3 minutes away, so you'd have missed it anyway.
No, because if we'd gone the other direction, it would have been 20 minutes. It took me like an hour to get to the airport. And I got there, and the plane had already left, and the cabbie was just laughing. He was saying, we're never going to make it. He goes, you're a religious man, you better start praying. I thought he was being facetious. He was absolutely right. £165.
But hold on, why didn't he tell you that when he picked up at
Well, it makes you
4:15?
wonder. It makes you wonder. So obviously, I'm a little bit annoyed. Because, you know, I'm not a man who likes to sort of spend unnecessarily.
But wait, this is not my fault, because you were there when we made that decision. I didn't impose this on you. We both decided that might be it. It's both our fault. I mean, it's no one's fault.
It's both our fault. That's fair. That's all I wanted to hear. It's both our fault. Therefore, it's both our financial obligation.
No.
£165. Just split that in half. Write a cheque, Rick. Write a cheque. It's fine. I trust you. You know.
Phone in. I think everyone. This is.
You're clearly
obvious.
irresponsible.
No, of course I'm not. If you share a cab and then one person's lucky enough to not be late and one person is unlucky enough, and that's what it is, bad luck. I don't think you share the obligation. It's a moral dilemma, this, isn't it?
But it's more than that, though, isn't it? Because let's be honest.
What?
Even if you had known that I was going to get there late, you'd have wanted me to hang around just so you weren't left around waiting for a train on the road.
No, because I got there.
you get bored sitting
No,
don't you?
'cause I got
So
there.
you'd have wanted me to at least got in that cab
I got
with
there
you.
way too early. I actually got there about. I was there about 30 minutes
so you
early.
made it fine then. That was
Well,
that was
exactly.
no
So I mean, I sacrificed me hanging around for half an hour so you could get it at 4:15. And the other thing is this: you were going to get it at 4:15 anyway.
Yeah, but I would if I'd gone the other direction and not dropped you off in the centre, I would have been there in
Wow,
time.
would we? Would we?
Well,
Is that
yes.
true? Wow. Only God knows.
Well, and the cabbie. What I mentioned it to. So,
I'll tell you what will cheer you up. I'll tell you what's better than 80 quid. I'll tell you what's better than, shall I?
go on.
Music.
What, are you paying the whole 165?
Listen, look, I brought in a little track here, Bruce Springsteen off the Turn of Love album, and I know you're a Springsteen fan.
I was Springsteen fan. We should just qualify this, because a lot of people who listen to XFM are obviously a bit edgy about Springsteen. They just think he's this old, kind of ludicrous 80s rocker, the bandana, you know, the flying the flag, which he never really was.
No, that was Bon Jovi.
Exactly.
Don't confuse
Bon
them.
Jovi. But seriously, no, do you know what I mean? He did write some great music in the 70s,
Yeah.
and he just got a little bit kind of pompous in the 80s, but he still turned out some amazing tunes, one of which I imagine is this one, Rick.
This one's called Brilliant Disguise. Bit of Springsteen there, Brilliant Disguise on XFM 104.9. I think that's soothed you a little bit. That's
Not really.
taken a bit of. I just remember something
80
as well.
quid, Rick, 80 quid.
You know what? We finished the talk at about sort of 3, and we had a couple of hours to kill before we got about that half 2, wasn't it? We had a couple of hours before we got the taxi, and we were eating in this cafe, and Steve said, "How long's your train journey?" I said, 4.5 hours. He went, "So you was I getting about 10." He went, 6:30, me. And he's quite smug, and I went, "Yeah." I said, "It's quite a long time." I just started to sort of relax and everything. He went, "Yeah." I said, "But," he said, "I think I'm come off better here, because usually you've organised all this stuff." He said, "But I think you've chosen wrong here." I said, "I think you're right."
Yeah. Don't think those words weren't coming back to haunt me as I was handing over 165 notes. All I was thinking was,
And I was on
Ricky's
the
going to be
train
loving
in
it.
first class, drinking John Smith's and listening to Mercedes Walkman.
Yeah, but I handed over my initial card. She said 165 quid then. I went, fine. I handed over the card. It was a Switch card. She said, "We don't take Switch."
Don't they?
I was thinking, what am I going to do then? I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from.
What did you do in the end then?
Well,
Go to
luckily I had
cash?
another card.
Oh, right.
And she managed to accept that one. But I don't know what I'd have done. I don't genuinely
You
don't
didn't
know what
tell
I'd
me
have
you
done.
had another card.
Yeah, I got 2 cards.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
I was
depressing.
so depressed because I just kept thinking about what I'd said to you. I've won this time, because normally I'm always like legging it for tubes, or I'm just, you know, where I get stuck in the rain or
And
something.
I've
I just never
organised
seem
a
to be able to
driver or
organise travel.
something. Because when you get me, I said, "Well, it's up to you. It's up to you." You know what I mean? Every man for
But
themselves.
this time it was 4.5 hours, and I was just in that 40 minutes on the plane. There'd have been no problem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm so livid. Do you know, I got off, because I was not very well either. I'm a bit ill at the moment. I got off the plane, and I thought, well, I could get a cab from the airport all the way back home, but, you know, I've already been stung for 165 quid. Got the tube. Took me forever.
Really?
I'm not going to lie to you. It took me forever. I got in probably later than you did. Around the 11 o'clock mark.
You didn't really?
No, I wasn't quite as bad as that. But I was so I'm really depressed, Rick. So I was saying
know.
50 quid is
well,
something
money.
right.
I mean, Steve does not like to waste money, and I mean by that I mean.
I don't like to spend money.
No. He had to go out and get our shirt for a photo shoot, quite an important photo shoot for, I think, the Times, right? Went out, he was buying a shirt, went out, planned it, went short. Came back, $14.99 from Henny's.
Henny's, $14.99.
He knew where he was aiming, he aimed straight for Henny's, he knew where he can get a bargain. This is a man...
But it seems to me that at that kind of price, you can throw them away, Av. You don't even need to wash them, really. You can throw them away using, like, Kleenex.
Have you ever thrown one away?
No. No. Just scrape off the stains and keep on wearing it, Rick.
Remember that time when we went to the casino for my birthday, and I was like 100 quid down, and some people were 100 quid up and 100 quid down. He, after the 3 hours we were there, was down £20, genuinely depressed.
I was almost crying.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Well, it's because it's a mugs game gambling. It really is. Was that where we? Because I went there. It was. There was one time we went there. It was our agent's birthday.
That was another time we went there, right? And he was up. And he got a win. He was 30 quid up, and so I said, "It's your round then." And the round was more than 30 quid, and he couldn't believe it. And he sat down and he went, "I can't believe it." He said, "And I bought him a present, so I was already down."
Yeah, I was. It turned out I was already down because I bought our agent a gift. I didn't see him buy it. And you know that thing where you're buying a round of drinks from people you don't even know? So it's like, what's the story there? Why am I suddenly bankrolling you drinks? It's like, I don't know you people. I'm not going to get any kind of... I'm not going to see you again to sort of reap the benefits at a later point.
Because he came in with his
most of you are married or
chips.
engaged, so I'm not even going to pull from it. It was a waste of time. It was just pure generosity.
It was something like from Swingers, because he came into the cocktail bar holding 3 chips up worth £10 each and went, "Hello," like that.
Yeah, I was £30 up. That's a lot of money, Rick. Carl, you know that. 30 quid. You don't want to sniff at that.
Oh, what songs should we play? We've got lots of songs in. So
Bit of Incubus.
Just to make me more depressed. I thought it was a bit slow.
I know, but I'm a fan of it.
I like slow songs, but
I really like. I've always been a fan of it, even from early days.
Yeah.
I thought his first song was really great and much maligned. People didn't like it because they were expecting
The Verve.
yeah, urban hymns and all that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
That's great. On XFM 104.9.
Who are you?
Ricky Gervais, who are you?
Steve Merchant.
Who's that little round-headed
Oh,
fellow
there
over
he
there?
is, Carl Pilkington.
Carl, I've had a lot of Carl today. He's a bit tired, aren't you?
Just a little bit.
What happened?
Bit annoyed
You
with
came
it.
back from Edinburgh today as well, didn't you, on the plane?
This morning,
Yeah,
got an early flight.
yeah.
It's just annoying me because there was like people on the plane fighting over where they wanted to sit.
Surely they've got designated seats.
Well, they have, but that wasn't good enough for them. They wanted to sit next to the friends and that. And it's like, well, you can't because you didn't check in together. So that's the way it is.
Yeah, done.
But the thing is, it's from Edinburgh, 40 minutes,
Yeah.
and I just don't understand this sort of.
You can stand for that long, can't you?
Why do you have to sit next to the person anyway? To be honest, I mean, fair enough if you're going on a long flight, someone to talk to, but for 40 minutes, it really doesn't matter.
I never want anyone to talk to. I don't want anyone sitting next to me to talk to me.
Why? What are they there for?
What? I don't mean people I go with. I mean if I'm travelling alone and I sit next to someone, I don't want them to talk to me.
Yeah, but I don't really know.
If I was travelling with you, I'd really not want you to talk to me.
Not if you're going to talk like this.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, you sound like you're suicidal, mate. It was just a couple of people arguing. It's over, man.
Yeah.
The plane journey's finished. Why is it still stewing you up?
He paid 160 quid and he's not whinging, he doesn't care.
165 quid. Let's get it right. If we're going to bring it up, if we're going to mention it.
And it's like orthodox back to him. Like he goes, he said to me, "Rick, it's only money, and money is just something you have in case you don't die tomorrow." He's got a great attitude towards money, Steve. It's like easy come, easy go. So just take a leaf out of Steve, the I'm not spending that much merchant, and you'll have a happier life.
Sorry, I just need to defend myself for a minute. There are certain instances in life where, you see, now you're giving me an attitude like that I'm tight. It's not tight. No, shut up. Let me defend myself. It's not that I'm tight with money. It's that I want to get value for money at all times.
Yeah.
Because, you probably got a lot of cash given to you, maybe it's pocket money when you was a kid. Every penny I've ever had is been money I've earned.
Yeah.
So frankly, I'm going to spend it wisely. Like, for instance, you might say you're in a party, or so you're at a party, maybe out in a bar with someone's birthday. You get talking to a girl, right? Maybe you buy her some drinks, right? You're chatting to her, and then you're chatting away for 2 hours, and then at the end of the evening, she says, "Oh, I've got to go meet my boyfriend now." Right? She's wasted my money and my time there.
Yeah.
That's 2 hours wasted and money wasted, right? Now, she should have told me straight away that she had a boyfriend, and I wouldn't have bothered with
Right.
it. I'd have moved on. I'd have looked on to
what if she thought she was just having a chat with another human being?
Rick, where I'm being deliberately deceived so people can extract money from me or interesting conversation.
Yeah.
She knew what I was after. It was
Yeah.
obvious, the drooling mouth, you know, the beady eyes.
And
yet she was leading me on.
And she was a prostitute. And think how he felt about that. I mean, what a slap
let's
in the
not
face.
try and cheapen it with that kind of cheap sexual innuendo, right? She occasionally slept with me for money.
It wasn't for money, it was for meals.
Yeah. No, but the point was, no, do you know what I mean? It's just that sort of attitude generally in my life. It's like, don't waste my time, you know? Don't waste my time or my money. You're right? Life is, the clock is ticking as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, and so just, if you've got a boyfriend and I come up and I'm chatting you up, just let me know and I'll move on. I won't bother you.
Or
yes, please. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel they should definitely introduce some kind of badge
You see,
system.
the problem is that women without boyfriends will be wearing those badges now, and you won't be able to, you know what I mean? You won't be able to say, have you really got a boyfriend?
No, I just think there should be some kind of there should be an etiquette, there should be an understanding.
Yeah.
You know, because they know, they can see what I'm after. It's obvious.
Is it obvious, is it?
Yes, I make it very clear.
You're not a subtle man.
No, I just come over and pant.
Do you still